Jim, can anybody hear me?
Yes, good evening.
All right. Good evening. Peace. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you too?
Fine. All right. We agree that network is disturbing quite. So yeah. So by the way, I'm Diver, um, blockchain analyst, or rather on-chain analyst, and also an influencer on X. So yeah. So today we'll be going through um introduction to what blockchain is and introduction to data analysis. So before then, as I introduce myself, you guys can like take a minute or two and like introduce yourself. So like I'll get to know you. Hello, do you hear me? I say like take a minute or two and like introduce yourself so that I'll like know your status, whether you're a learner or whether you've been in this space for.
Okay, hi, good evening once again, Emmanuel. So my name is Tochukwu Peace Opel, anyone. And I'm a data analyst actually, but then currently in Web2, looking to like find my way into Web3. That's basically it. Yeah.
All right. So you want to be an analyst while coming into Web3?
I'm already an analyst now, yeah, but I'm looking to like find my footing in Web3 as well. So it's not just like Web2 and all, yeah.
Okay, so you're already a data analyst in Web2.
Yes.
Wow, that's very nice. That's very nice. Okay, that's very
Thank
good.
you.
Um, Victoria, Victoria, are you there?
I'm a convener with that too.
Oh, all right, Tochku. Then I have to work. Is it okay if I call you Tochku or Peace? Which one do you prefer?
Anyone is fine. Pearl, you can still call me Pearl. Anyone is fine, really.
All right,
Yeah.
Peace. Have you heard anything about blockchain as a whole?
Yeah, the blockchain, yes, I have. I know I have crypto assets, but I also do not know what's going on there. Not like I do not know, but I don't know what is going on in Web3. Data analysis for Web3, basically, yeah.
All right. Um, Web2 and Web3. Okay, let me just start from the course actually. Let's introduce what blockchain technology. I don't know whether you already understand this very well, but then I will throw a little bit light on what blockchain technology is all about. If that's okay with you, we can start from there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right. So blockchain, I'll try to just give an illustration of what blockchain is. So we're going to take it literally. When you hear blockchain, we start with the block itself. You understand? So when you hear block, when it comes to blockchain and Web3, we are talking about just visualize a normal block in your head, and then in this block you have transaction history basically. Whatever is going on chain is being. Can you like mute your mic, please? I don't know,
Okay.
it's interrupting the network. So yeah, so in that block, whatever is happening in the whole space is being recorded, the transaction that people make, and just basically the transaction, because that's basically what is going on in this space, various transactions. But then each of these transactions, why it's complex is that there are many things that make up these transactions. One of them is what we call a hash. Another thing is called the addresses. The addresses involved here is both the outgoing, both the giver and the receiver. The two addresses are recorded in that transaction. The transaction hash. The transaction hash is derived from cryptography of both the giver and the receiver. is a technology that the technology behind it is cryptography, but then it somehow translates those two addresses into what we call a transaction hash, such that if you search that transaction hash, you're going to see the exchange that was done between those people. You're going to see the amount of money that was exchanged between those people. You're also going to see the chains that those people interacted with. So that's what like makes up the transaction hash. And this transaction plus transaction hash plus everything that happens on chain is what makes up a block. Are you following?
Okay, yeah. If you're sharing your screen, we can't see your screen though.
Huh?
I said if you're sharing your screen, we can't see.
No, I'm not sharing my screen. There's no, this is not complex enough for me to be sharing my screen. So, like, do you understand the concept of what makes up a block?
Yeah, I think a couple more persons have joined the class as well.
So, Joy, Oni, and Derafon, Francis, you're welcome. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Darafon, Francis, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you guys are welcome. We have not gone far or deep into the class yet. What we have tried to do is introduce ourselves and then try to get a grips of what the blockchain is. So I'll be asking you, Joy, briefly introduce yourself. Let's know whether you're a newbie or what you do in the Web2 space before now.
Oh, sorry, can I get the question again?
I said, like, just briefly introduce yourself, what you do, whether in Web2 or in Web3, or what you plan to do from the course, something of that nature.
Okay. Yeah, actually, my name is Joy. I stay in Ogun State. So I don't really do much in web, web two. I'm just into academic research and data analysis. Yes, data analysis. I'm looking forward to incorporate that into Web three.
Uh, you're welcome once again.
Yeah.
Francis, can we hear from you? The same question.
Okay, good evening. My name is Monia actually, and I'm a newbie. I'm new. I've not been on Web2 or any like space at all. So I just want to just start with this and develop my interest as I go on. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So back to what we're saying, we are discussing blockchain technology. Is the backbone of what you guys know as Web3. Whatever you do with Web3 is the concept is all revolves around blockchain. So yeah, brief intro to why this Web3 a whole shit is very important. In Web2, everything that we do in Web2 is being controlled by the government, obviously. There's this concept of what we call centralization. So, but then in Web3, we want to say that, okay, we are tired of like government, like taking hold of our stores, taking hold of our money, controlling everything we do. So we want to like, be free from all those. So this guy, what's his name? Satoshi, right? Satoshi, he created Bitcoin, the first ever whatever. But then Bitcoin was created on the technology, what is called blockchain technology. So the concept of the whole blockchain is to ensure decentralization. Decentralization in the sense that nobody except from you will have access to your assets, your money, whatever you own on this chain. Nobody else has access to it except from you. So that's what these guys are planning to do or what they try to do. So now, this blockchain technology is also backed by another technology called cryptography. I'm not going to go into cryptography yet, so I'm just going to explain how this blockchain works. So when you think of blockchain, we will take it literally, a block and a chain, just like lining blocks in lines and connecting them, just as literally as that. So It's just you having blocks and then a chain. The need for the chain is that there will be a progression so that you're able to see the first block that existed, and then the chain, from the chain you're able to see that this is the first, this is second, this is the third. So running them up like that is just what causes the chain up to probably 1,000 blocks, 2,000 blocks, 20,000 blocks, or whatever. So yeah, the concept is just that block, then the chain is just the intersection of that block, those blocks. So let me try like explain what the block involves. When they talk about block, when you hear a block in Web3 as a whole, you'll be talking about let's say a box. Just imagine a box in your head, or normal block like a cement block. But then in this main block, you have transactions of everything that happens on chain. The money you give to somebody, the money you receive, uh, the NFTs you buy, whatever you do on chain, as far as it is on that protocol or whatever, it is recorded on the blockchain to show that yes, this activity was performed. So each block in a blockchain, each single block is made up of transaction hash, and many other things that comes with cryptography. But then it's mostly the transaction. The transaction hash, as I mentioned, is made up of the address of the sender, say the wallet address of the sender, the wallet address of the receiver, then a cryptography that somehow combines those two wallet addresses to create a transaction hash, such that if I'm to collect this your transaction hash, go to the blockchain and input that transaction hash, I'll be able to see evidence of that transaction. So the transaction hash there is like a receipt that can be given out to anybody. So if the person collects that receipt and goes to the blockchain and input it there, the person is going to see the evidence of a transaction between two people. So transaction hash is mostly just between two addresses. You send something to this guy, he receives it from you, or whatever. It just from a cryptography occurs and creates a transaction hash. So that's basically what transaction hash is. And those are like the primary things that makes up a block. So the blockchain now is those blocks. Now imagine different transactions that will make up different blocks. So as each transaction is being made, as each block is being formed, just more blocks are being formed, and then the formation of those many blocks is what leads up to a chain. So blockchain is, to a layman, or from what I've said, is just a chain of blocks made up of transactions that are being done on chain. So yeah, that's it for the blockchain. I want to like take a minute or two and see whether you guys like understand the concept of this blockchain I just explained. Any question on that? Hello, any question on the blockchain? Anybody?
No, no, I don't have any questions.
No, no, from my end.
Joy? Any question? All right. So what you have done now is able to explain what blockchain is. But then from the looks of it, you can understand that we have not yet actually explained how these guys solve the centralization issue. So the blockchain, as I've explained, whatever it is, now how the decentralization comes into this game is that these blocks, or the blockchain, is being controlled or run by nodes, NODES. So these nodes are computers, various computers all over the world. So it's not limited to anybody. Everybody can run a node. So what these nodes do is to verify transactions on chain. Why is there need to verify these transactions? If say Peace is to transfer a certain amount to Francis on chain, in the blockchain, somebody has to be and evidence to show that yes, this transaction has taken place. Why is that important? So that peace is not going to do the same transaction again, which will lead to what we call double spending in the blockchain. So those various nodes through computers, nodes are just computers around the world that are, specific for confirming transactions and also storing blockchain data. I don't know, we may not have time to go deep into nodes, but then the concept of node is that everybody around the world will able to confirm transactions that are happening on chain. To prevent major issue is to prevent double spending and to ensure that not one particular person is responsible for confirming that transaction. Because if it's one particular person that's responsible, then the person can easily manipulate it. But then when you're looking at various people all over the world, there's no common communication that can easily lead to fraud there. Everybody is doing things in their own interest. But then, if everybody's doing things on their own interest, it's also going to bring a problem. That is why there are various rules that guide one that is running a node. So, if you're a node runner, or if you decide to dedicate your system, or yeah, it's mostly a system, it's a computer, your computer to verify transactions on chain, there are certain rules that are made by the blockchain that you have to follow. So when such things are in place and various people all over the world are able to like say that yes, this transaction between these two people is verified. When about let's say all the nodes presently for BTC, all the nodes have to verify it. Let's say when all the nodes verify that transaction, then that transaction can be registered completely in the blockchain that yes, Keys have transferred money to Francis. And every other person, every node runner all over the world is going to have a copy of that transaction. We are going to go into why all these things relate to analysis, but yeah, so that's what node is. So take node as various computers all over the world responsible for verifying transactions on chain or for verifying transactions in the blockchain. The aim of all these things is to prevent double spending and to ensure that there's decentralization in the blockchain. So those are like basically what the nodes do. And then they also store those transactions, as I said earlier. Every transaction that happens, every one of them have a copy of the transaction that happens on chain or in the blockchain. So there cannot be any tampering. Somebody cannot just wake up in the morning and tamper with the blockchain, because for somebody to successfully tamper with a data in the blockchain, it means that he has to tamper with every system that is running the node. And all the systems are like spread across the world. So there's no how a person can successfully hack into every node all around the world just to correct one single data. So with that in place, decentralization and security has been achieved in the blockchain. So the concept of node is to ensure decentralization, verification, and security in the blockchain. Understood? Any question on that?
No question.
None from my end.
Sorry,
No
sir.
question.
On
I'll ask you questions. I can hear you, Joy.
Yeah, you say the node is for security and transaction. I want to ask that, like transaction in one sense, is it between you and somebody or a financial project or something that you help them
Every
validate
transaction,
online? I want to get the concept very well, how it works.
when I mean transaction, I mean every transaction that is happened on chain. Transactions means you sending money to somebody, you receiving money from somebody. Every transaction that happens between any two people on chain, as far as it's happening on that blockchain, is going to like is going to like all those nodes are going to like verify it and know that such thing. Are you guys raising your hand knowingly or by mistake?
No,
So
mine
it's
is
what
only. I wanted to ask a question.
All right. Can you
So
like?
I wanted to, sorry.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so I was going to ask if there are different blockchains or is just one blockchain.
Okay, there are actually very different block. they they have different block. How do I put it now? Although blockchain is a tech, but then there are different blockchains. There are different chains. Yeah, there are different chains. Blockchain technology is just the tech, but there are different chains. There's BTC, there's Ethereum, there's Solana. So there are a lot of chains, but then blockchain is the tech. Yeah, we explore that too along the line. I've answered your question.
Yes, yes, thank you.
All right, Joy. I say that every transaction, both between protocols, even between person to person, is being recorded on chain. Does that answer your question about the transactions, Joy?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, we're going to
So I
go.
have a question.
All right, Francis.
Okay, so let's say a transaction takes place now and there's an issue. How do you contact a noder to get the transaction receipt?
All right. Um, just write that question down. If I'm done explaining what I'm explaining, and you still have that question, then you can ask the question again.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
All right. So I mentioned that there's a rule that guides every node while I was explaining node. Those rules is what we call consensus mechanisms. I'll just read the definition for you guys. A consensus mechanism is a rule book that nodes follow to agree on what is valid, like a group decision making process. Now, I mentioned that this node are spread across the world, and then they're doing the same thing. So they have to be like a rule guiding them, because human beings are selfish, and if you allow a selfish nature to take place to take over us, it's going to be very bad. So these rules is what we call consensus mechanism. Every chain, I repeat, every chain has its own consensus mechanism. BTC, Bitcoin, for example, uses a mechanism we call proof of work. Now, we have heard what is called mining BTC. I know some of us have heard mining BTC. I'm like, have you guys heard it? We mine BTC. Have anybody like heard the concept or something of that nature?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just briefly touch on what mining is. So mining, when you say you want to mine a BTC, mining BTC is just like these miners. What they do is that they solve complex algos, or rather, you can just put it, they solve complex puzzles. Then, as a reward for those puzzles that they solve, okay, they solve different puzzles. The aim for solving that puzzle is to get the first person that will finish that puzzle. So these things are done with very high-end computers, very sophisticated computers, actually, because the puzzle is in cryptography, which is a very complex mathematical thing. So all those blocks, all those miners try to like be the first to solve this puzzle. So when the person solves this puzzle, the answer to this puzzle is already how do I put it, is already written on the cryptography. This cryptography thing is very complex. The answer to this puzzle is already like registered, let's say at the back of the puzzle, something of that nature. So the first person to solve this puzzle and verify it, that when he solves the puzzle, I'm like, okay, I have solved this puzzle. Other miners will be like, how correct is this puzzle? And is actually the first one to solve it. So that's when they're going to like bring in the answer and be like, okay, this guy's puzzle is actually the correct puzzle. He got it correctly. So according to how this guy Satoshi set it, the miner or the first person to solve this puzzle actually gets BTC as a reward. And then by solving those puzzles, this guy adds a block, a single block, or maybe complex multiple blocks to the blockchain. Remember what these blocks are? These blocks are just boxes, open boxes that can record transactions. You understand? So by adding these blocks to the blockchain, he gets rewarded with BTC. and then he's not the only one mining. So what I'm trying to explain all these things is just that BTC follows a mechanism called proof of work. So the work here is for miners to try and solve this puzzle and to try to be the first to solve this puzzle. So different miners all over the world trying to solve the same puzzle, if one gets it, can come together under cryptographic rules to decide who is the first person to solve it or who was the first person to solve it right. So those miners, by doing those things, are actually those proof of work, that PO, we call it POW, those proof of work are the mechanism that guides node runners. In BTC, we don't run nodes. What we do is mine, but then I want to use the concept of node since that's what I've been explaining since. So you're going to take those miners as the node runners. So those miners, stroke node runners, are the ones that are going to be like verifying whatever happens on chain. And to give them such rights, they have to be those that have spent their time and computer efforts into trying to mine BTC. Even though that BTC awards them, but then they're the only ones that are proven that have worked for it. Hence, the concept proof of work, because the mining is a lot of work. So BTC uses a proof of work mechanism. In contrast to BTC, we have Ethereum, another popular chain. Ethereum uses what we call POS, proof of stake. So how that one works is that on Ethereum, different people buy Ethereum, ETH coin, and stake it. Staking it means they are locking up this amount of Ethereum, so amount of Ethereum for so duration. What's need for locking this thing up? Is to show interest. Actually, that's how I say it as. Because if I'm able to lock $1 million in a chain as staking, that means I have a right to make decisions on what happens on those chain. And that is exactly what happens with proof of stake protocols like Ethereum. So you come to Ethereum, Ethereum has a minimum amount you can stake. You stake that minimum amount on Ethereum, and then in return, not everybody shall, but then if you want, in return, you are given the right to run a node on Ethereum. So what Ethereum uses as its consensus mechanism or its rulebook to determine those that are going to run this node and how they're going to run this node is by the amount of Ethereum that was being staked. Now, you staking Ethereum is of two reasons. We are diverting more from, I just want to like touch this part. You staking Ethereum is of two reasons. Number one, staking Ethereum is going to give you rewards from Ethereum blockchain or Ethereum chain. But then, if you're a technical person, you can also run a node. Those that run nodes are called validators. Those node runners, but those validators still have to stake their Ethereum, obviously. But then those node runners that have the technical advantage are called validators. So by validating those things, by running those nodes, you also get like small incentives from Ethereum. But then the major thing here is that the consensus mechanism for Ethereum, or the rule book that determines who runs a node and who does not run a node in Ethereum, is by proof of stake. The proof of stake is you showing your interest and your commitment to Ethereum. So by locking up your money on Ethereum chain for a particular amount of time, you have proven that yes, you are worthy of making decisions that actually affect those chains. Hence, you are given the right to run a node on the chain. So yeah, consensus mechanism, as I said earlier, is a rule book that nodes follow to agree on what is valid, like a group decision process. So yeah, those nodes, to make it, I don't know, those nodes are not how do I put it? They're run by computers, they're run by human beings, but the person doesn't sit one place and like click every transaction and be like, okay, this transaction on or this transaction not. That's not how it works. These are just computers that follow a particular rule. Hence, the consensus mechanism that follows those rules to know the transaction that comes first, to know the transaction that are legit, and to know transactions that are fraudulent. But then, you having the right to do those things, you need to stake your Ethereum for Ethereum blockchain or be a miner for BTC. There are many other chains and different mechanisms. There is DPoS, that's delegated proof of stake. There is proof of stake. Solana uses a whole different stuff. So yeah, so yeah. Any question on this consensus mechanism and how it works?
No question.
No question. That's interesting. Peace. Any question?
No, not from my end.
All right. Joy. Any question? We have a new person with us. Huh? Joy, I can hear you. All right, Raji, you're welcome.
So I just joined the class now, so I'm a bit lost. So I think along the line I would somewhat understand. But if it's possible for you to somewhat summarize what you said, because I just like joined maybe 10 minutes ago.
The voice was echoing actually. Joy, please turn off your speaker. All right. So yeah, that's it for consensus mechanism. Now, coming to analysis on Web3, there are a lot of things you have to know, and not just know it. There are a lot of things you have to understand. One of the things you have to understand is these transactions that happen, all these transactions that are happening on chain, these blocks that are being formed, you have to be very curious because everything that happens, all these transactions actually tells us something in different ways. So you coming on chain, you're going to be ready to be as curious as possible, not just taking information literally as it is, but then curious to know whether these transactions have meaning. Have meaning in the sense that if you have stayed, okay, for people that are advanced in the chain, you will understand that a transaction, when a big amount of money is being withdrawn from a centralized exchanges, say Bybit, when a big chunk of money is being withdrawn from Bybit into the blockchain, it shows bullish signals. It shows that people are now bringing their money from real life into Web3. When the opposite happens, when you start seeing that a lot of money is going into centralized exchanges from blockchain, from the chain, like people are just taking out the Ethereum and taking it to Bybit, it shows bearish sign. It's showing that people are losing trust, that people are taking out their money. So all those small things, it's just normal transaction that everybody sees. But you as an analyst, your goal is to try to understand the meaning behind those transactions and read meaning into them. So yeah, I'm going to show you where example of this transaction we are talking about and how where you can see every transactions that happen on chain. Every transaction that everybody does on any chain can be seen on chain. Example, if you want to see every transaction that is happening on BTC chain, you go to BTC scan. If you want to see transaction happening on Ethereum chain, you're going to go to what we call Etherscan. ETHEIER, Etherscan. So I'm going to open Etherscan now and share my screen so we can see all those things that we talked about. Just a moment. This is like the introduction to data analysis. Do I need to like say what data analysis is, or should we just go into how it relates to Web3?
Maybe you can just explain what
And
it is.
all right, data analysis, as I've said earlier, starts with gathering raw data like blockchain transactions, users' activity, or network performance, processing them, organizing them, cleaning them, and turning those algos stroke transactions into meaningful insights stroke information. So yeah, and then you being an analyst, you're able to like turn those raw information you got into visual informations that anybody that is not say technical related like you are can look at that information and make meaning out of it. Such information, such visualization can be like you show. Okay, let's just go to Etherscan. I think let's just go to Etherscan. I'm going to be sharing my screen of Etherscan right now. Let's see. Just show you. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So can I share my screen? Can you see the Etherscan?
I can't see your
No,
screen. Is it just me?
Can you guys see?
no, I cannot
You
see
cannot
it.
see it.
No, I can't see your screen.
You cannot. Huh?
Okay, we can see. I can see it now.
Is anybody seeing it?
I can see your
Oh,
screen now. I
You can
can
see it
see
now,
it
right?
now. Yes.
Right. So this is Etherscan. It holds every transaction that happens on chain, that happens on Ethereum chain. Every single transaction that happens on Ethereum chain is being recorded here. This is like 7 seconds ago. This one, this a block. So let's open this block. Let's see what is in this block. Remember what blocks are? Just a box containing transactions. So yeah, on this block, this is block say 221, this 221 million or so. On this block alone, there were 154 transactions, and this is complex, and 52 contract internal transactions on this block. That is to tell you that a single block can hold more than one transaction. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Anybody see
Sorry.
what
I
I'm
need a
showing in
question.
the first place?
Yes. So all of these transactions happened in just 2 minutes.
Seconds.
Oh wow.
This is like 2 minutes ago. Another block has already formed. So 154 transactions, yeah, happened in 2 minutes, 16 withdrawals, and then 52 contracts happened on Ethereum in 2 minutes. This is the amount of gas used. This is like 14, this 14 million GUI. Gas are measured in GUI. So yeah, we have this literally what a block is. As I explained, a block we hold different transactions in the blockchain. Now let's go back to the whole Etherscan. Under block has formed, under block has formed. There's just various blocks, as you can see here. And these like the latest transactions. These are transactions. This one by this left, this one that my cursor is a transaction hash. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a transaction hash. When you open this transaction hash, as I said, it will show the transaction between two people. So now see the transaction hash said from this guy, Titan builder.eth to this guy. And that's just it for transaction hash. It just shows how much was, see the value. It was $56 that was transferred, and the gas fee was 0.03 ETH. These people, you don't know them, they don't know you, but then you can see the transaction that happened. That's just blockchain. That's what we call transparency. Blockchain is very transparent. This is the concept of transparency in blockchain. So yeah, let's now move a bit into how it relates to an analyst. So you coming to this blockchain, this is how much Ethereum is worth. One Ethereum is $1,800 dollars. This transaction, these are many transactions that have happened. two 207 2,749 million transactions at a rate of 17 transactions per second. Are you guys following? GUI, this GUI is or like it's a currency that gas fees are measured in. When you make a transaction on chain, you pay a certain amount of fee that we call gas fee. So the fee you pay on Ethereum is measured in GUI. The GUI is very small. You can see this gas fee is like $0.03 for the gas fee. So, all right. So when you come to this place now, as say an on-chain analyst, I want to get insights from here. If you go to this transaction, let me say I open transaction. I want to get insights on what is happening on Ethereum today. For 24 hours alone, Ethereum processed 1 million transactions in the past 24 hours. Pending transaction of 70,000. Oh, Jesus, I'm taking light. All right. Pending transaction of 70,000. This alone is a red sign. I mean, out of people, 70 transactions of people have not been processed in the past 1 hour. Sure, we're going to get into that. Okay. What I want to do here is Ethereum is not as good as I thought they were. Oh, maybe I have to sign in first. All right. If you come to this place, this transaction hash, this is transaction from who to who. Most blockchains, I mean, Ethereum also does that. I don't know why it's not showing. I can filter transactions. I can go to this form and filter a transaction from, let's say, Bybit. So I want to see every transactions that left Bybit account. Bybit is a very big exchange. So you type in Bybit, you can just see like their wallet address on Ethereum. So you can see every transaction that left from Bybit and where it went to. The aim of seeing those things is to see to track whether these transactions are living. Are they just normal human transactions, or are they whales? Whales have a very big amount of money in the ecosystem, or are they whales that are making these transactions? Why is this differentiation is important? If it's normal people that are making transactions, you can just say like it's people making their daily transactions. But then if it is whales, when whales make transactions, it's going to like cause a lot of weave in the ecosystem, because they're moving nothing less than say $5 million, and that's a lot of money that can change the cost of things. You understand? When you come to a trade, they can change a lot of things. So when whales, as I said earlier, when you see that whales are like taking out their money from Bybit, that alone is a red sign. But then what to now be looking at? Okay, where are they taking this money to? Is it a particular ecosystem? Is it to another chain altogether? If they're moving the money from Ethereum to Solana, then you'll be expecting a spike in rise of Solana. Not just a spike, you'll be curious enough to ask, why are these people moving such amount of money? So basically, they're going to like have some informations that you don't know, because these people don't just move their money anyhow. Nobody moves $5 million for just moving it. You understand? So yeah, those people, those bills are what our most interests are in, and what we call smart wallets. Smart wallets are just people that you probably have tracked their wallets and see that they make a lot of gains from the ecosystem. Those are like advanced analysis in this space. But then, yeah, when you come to a blockchain, you come to Etherscan. One of the things you can do on Etherscan is to sieve these transactions, to know where money is moving out from and where money is moving to. Everything we do in this space is just to like follow the money. You understand? It's just volume, all about volume. So, and this is where you can get all of them from for Ethereum blockchain. On that place, on that blockchain, like Ethereum, as I said, is Solana. I just want to like show you two. Let's just go with this two. Solana uses SoScan, just like the name, SoScan. Now, you may be questioning, why do they have different, what I say, place to like check it out? All these people, they have different chains. They have different consensus mechanism. They have different way they operate. They're not owned, yeah, they're owned by different, they're developed by different people. I will not say owned because they don't own it anymore, but then they're developed by different people. You understand? So this Etherscan like is like the storage grant for whatever transaction Ethereum does, and Soulscan is also like this storage background for whatever Solana does. Let me try sharing my Soulscan. Soulscan, yeah. Let me share my Soulscan now. So yeah, it's still loading. So this Soulscan now is for Solana. The same thing with Ethereum. Etherscan. You see, oh, this is still loading. But then yeah, you can see it. You see transactions that are being made, the time they were made, and then different blocks. So Etherscan, Soulscan, for BNB chain is BSC scan, and so on and so forth. All those people, what they just their role is just to like reckon transactions on chain, and then your role as an analyst is to look at those transactions and try to like drive insights from them. Every single thing on chain can mean a lot of things. Every single thing. So yeah, I think I'll just give it a pause and then let's hear our probably what we have in mind for what you have heard so far. Probably any question. So you can just raise up your hand and I'll choose to avoid like double echoing. So yeah, any question from anybody on what you have said so far, why these things work or how they work? Any question from anybody? If you're confused, you let me know. Let's know how we can like go about it. Any question?
Yeah, please. Is there like a place where we can go read up about the basics of this blockchain? Because I mean, there like a place you can point us to go and read up on the basics, so that we'll be able to like flow properly in the next class also.
Okay. Any other person?
Yeah. Also, so from this ETA scan that I was seeing, I was seeing from and then to. So for those ones that their hashes do not have like a specific name, how do you go about analyzing those ones? Or you just like, so maybe you want to check all the transactions that left from different, I don't know what to call it now. So from Bybit, from um I don't know other applications people use for that. But then, so for those ones that were just like really long, I think you call them hash. For those that were just really long hash, how do you like analyze those ones? Because I feel like two hashes will not have the same name. Like there will definitely be something differentiating them. Maybe a comma or something. I don't know. Like how do you go about analyzing that? Or we're still going to meet it in the future. Let me not run ahead of myself.
No, the question is valid. You know, as always, the concept of blockchain is to ensure decentralization and so that you can come on chain and do whatever you want to do without somebody in real life knowing who you are. So this on chain, you have to get used to just same bunch of letters and words combined together. Understand? So like you see this transaction from OXEO00 whatever to under OXC70 whatever. You're always going to see such things like this. So Bybit and Binance are just special ones that are already too popular that try to like add a special name to theirs. But except from it, every transaction you'll be working with, you have to be working with distance. And yes, no two transaction hash are the same, and no two addresses on chain are the same. So if you see an address from a wallet that looks similar, is either is the same person or is different persons. But yeah, as I said, no two addresses are the same and no two transaction hashes are the same. So every hash is unique to each transaction, and every person's wallet address is also unique. By clicking somebody's wallet address, let's say this guy's wallet address now, I can see every transaction that this guy has done with his wallet. So if I suspect that this guy is a whale, all his transactions are supposed to prove to me that indeed this guy is a whale. But obviously, from this guy's this thing now, I mean, what's 00 ETH? It doesn't make any sense. So obviously, this guy is obviously not a whale. But then, as I said earlier, you have to get used to seeing just bunch of letters and alphabet lined up like this as addresses and bunch and the same thing for transaction hash. And yes, no transaction hash is the same. You asked about reading about blockchain. I'll just say this. The truth is that some people okay, there I'm seeing your hand that we pick your. I just want like answer a question real quick. Reading about blockchain, if you have any AI, I think AIs are like doing a very good job on that. You can just tell it to like explain the concept of blockchain to you. But then, more important than knowing all those concepts before coming on chain is to actually come on chain and find out for yourself. Just come on chain and find out for yourself and see how it works. You cannot stay outside and learn the whole thing. Some things have to be learned in practice. You understand? Some of these things I learned it by, coming around, fucking around and finding out. That's what they just tell you. If you want to ask somebody anything, they'll do like fuck around and find out. So you just go around, any question you have, come on chain, try it out for yourself. Anything you learn, come on chain, look at all these addresses, think of how they work or whatever. You cannot know all of them before coming on chain. Actually, it's on chain that you learn more of them. So yeah, there are phone. What's your question? I can see you can like answer.
Okay. My I wanted to ask, okay, these scans now, you said every block or every chain has their different scan, like BTC has their scan,
Yeah,
Ether has their
yeah.
scan, Solana has their scan. So as an analyst, are you supposed to be acquainted with all the scans, like all the blocks and all their different scans, or you are just supposed to speak like specific ones that you acquaint yourself with?
You know,
And
okay, I'm hearing you.
okay, sorry. My second question is this data analysis and blockchain, is it like an open blockchain or a closed blockchain?
It's an open blockchain. That's for the answers to that one. It's very open, it's very transparent. And then for the first question, that question is very personal related in the sense that if you want to be if you want to focus on Ethereum, which I don't advise anybody to, I mean, there are a lot of chains, there are more than 500 chains or so. So why we now focus on one chain? And then you get these acquaintance we're talking about, all these things. If you spend time with them, you see that they're very similar. Look at it. I don't know why Soscan is misbehaving, but then if this Soscan was to load, you see that it's just the same to its Etherscan. You see the transaction hash, you see where it's coming from, you see where it's going to, you see the block. So if you can say the same thing for Soscan is giving problem. Interesting. You can see the same thing for Ethereum, you can see the same thing for Solana, you can see the same thing for BNB. They're just similar. All of them just give you the same thing. How transaction is coming and how transaction is. So this acquaintance is not very complex. Once you acquainted with one, it's very easy to like get in touch with the rest of them. It's very, very easy. So yeah, let's look at what we can do as an on-chain analyst. Number one, if you're going to be an analyst, you're going to be like very ready to read. You have to like read a lot of things. The reason for reading a lot of things is not necessarily that you're going to like need all of them in whatever you do, but then reading a lot of things is going to allow you to get insights from every single like every single detail, every small detail you see on chain, you can get insights from them. Example of what I mean is that if you're on a chain analyst and then you read about staking and then you come on chain and see that so amount was staked, two things are going to come into your head. Why did this person stake this amount? Is it just to earn reward, or is there under thing to why this guy staked the amount? But if you don't know anything about staking, and if you're not familiar with a task or whatever, you can see transactions. And number one, even if it's hinted to you that it's a staked transaction or a stake reward or a staked whatever, staked Ethereum, if you don't know what staking is, you can't derive any insights from staking. Staking alone, I mean, I can see 10 things that when somebody stakes on a chain, there are 10 things that you can derive insights from it. But you won't know all these things if you have not like gotten yourself acquainted to staking and whatever you do. So the whole concept is like read vast, read a lot of things as it relates to Web3. That's number one. You have to like read a lot of things. And then you're also going to be like doing quite a research job. Analysis is more of research than even the analysis itself. The analysis part is just getting whatever you research from, getting data of whatever you research from, bringing it together and making insight from it. But then the important part is always the research part. So you also have to like know how to look for data, know how to know where to go to and look for data. Not just look for data, look for the right data. Because if you analyze with the wrong data, obviously analysis is automatically wrong. You may be correct with your placement, you may be correct with your chart or whatever. But then for the fact alone that the data is wrong, the analysis is automatically wrong. So you have to ensure that yes, this place you're getting your source from is the right source. So I'm also going to like go through the right sources to get the right information as time permits. We've gone 17 minutes into the allocated time. All right. So yeah, as a data analyst, if you're coming into a trade, you will be looking to be what I call myself or what I am, an on-chain analyst. You're no longer specified to a data analyst. You are called an on-chain analyst. The reason being that you're analyzing on-chain data. So you can also attribute, naturally, you're already a researcher, yeah, quite a bit. For just being an analyst, you're already a researcher. So you can be an analyst and analyze, as I said, transactions, user performance, or network performance. And you can analyze it and post it on your X feed. Then you can actually get paid to analyze different chains. Yeah, you actually get paid. Not that you actually get paid to analyze certain chains. And the insights you get from your analysis are very helpful. Not can be, are very, very helpful to projects that are coming up. So you're able to get those insights and give it to those projects, you get paid for it. So that's on that end. And then if you're depending on who you are, I mean, by analyzing, you probably, yeah, that's quite different. But then for me, from analyzing too, I study how projects comes to be, how the projects grow, or what the project did at different times. Obviously, I'm following this project up on chain. I can see what they did at different times, and then it can lead me to a whole different career path that we know as growth managers. As growth managers advise projects on how to best grow. You can actually be an advisor. There's jobs such as like an advisor in the Web3 space. You understand? So yeah, you being an analyst actually gives you those leverage. That's like four different leverages now for just being an on-chain analyst. And then for yourself, you come on chain, you want to know where to put your small $1, $2, $5. These are things I'm going to check. So yeah, I don't know when we're going to meet again, or whether another person is going to like take you on in the next class or wherever. But then, from the looks of things, I know we have like taken what a block is, what it means to run a node, different consensus mechanisms, and then the basics of analysis, which is this eta scan. The basis of every on-chain analysis is these eta scans, like these scans for the blockchain. So if you're able to like get hold of these things, you already have the basics of coming as an on-chain analyst. And yeah, on my page on X, I actually like do a lot of analysis and post it, choose a project, analyze the project, and like post it. Joy, is it Joy that was indicating love for growth and growth advisor. Yeah, there's also something like growth advisor. Yeah, just mixing growth manager and advisor. So yeah, you can also be that just by being an analyst. So yeah, for the last time, is there like any question from any? Okay, touch please. Is there like
What's
any
your ex
question from
handle?
anybody? Oh, my ex handle.
Mm-hmm.
At name is Deve.
Please, can you type it in the chat box? So just so we don't make a mistake with spelling.
Okay, so yeah, that's my ex handle. All right. We're 21 minutes into our allocated time. Any question from anybody on anything so far? No question from anybody.
None at the moment. I'll reach out if I have one.
No
All right.
question.
All right. Before we close, I would just like to add that there are different niches in analysis too. Data analysis too. There are a lot of it. Okay, I'll come to that. There are different niches in this analysis of returns. There's people called fraud detection analysts. There are people that are hype analysts. There are people that are trend analysts. There are people that are performance analysts. So in this broad whole analysis stuff, you can choose a particular niche and niche yourself in it. Like develop yourself. If you want to be detecting fraud. You can detect fraud, on-chain fraud, by just studying and knowing transaction details. You can also discover where trend is going. Like I said, if you see that money is moving to a particular stuff, you can check where the money is moving to. Is this a new development? Is this a new tech? So by studying those kind of things, you automatically become a trade analyst or a hype analyst. So that's just basically what I want to add. You asked for tools. The basic tool for any on-chain analyst is just this ETA scans and source scans. If you can do a lot of things from these two actually, the rest of the tools are just advancement tools, like doing analysis. Doing analysis will require a professional skill in data analysis to use because you have to use the knowledge of SQL. You have to use that knowledge in doing analysis. So, but then the basic knowledge of every other person, of anybody coming on chain, is just these scans, this ETA scan, so scan. For BNB chain, you have BSC scan. For hype, just a lot of chains. Just say the first part of the chain plus scan, and then you see there. So yeah, I was told to give you guys assignments, right? I was told to give you guys some assignments. So you can write down the assignments, or should I just write it in the group? So I'll be writing the assignments in the group. Please try to do the assignment. According to them, it's going to be quite important. Where was this assignment? Just go and go find it. Okay. The assignment is in the group. The first question is, and then the second one is, And then lastly, are you guys seeing the assignments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, those are like the three assignments. So if there's no other question, can we like call it a day, or do you guys have anything you want to say or something? Huh? All right.
Not
Nobody's
from my
responding.
end.
All right.
Not from my end.
All right. So we can call it a day. Thank you very much for making our time to, you know, come on board and learn one or two. Yeah. Good night.